Happy new moon in Cancer, y'all. Eee. Bitchies. Claws. I hope everybody's doing well. It just occurred to me how strongly I've been craving shellfish the past couple of days, particularly crab. So that's really funny. Welcome. We're here for our new moon tarot and oracle workshop. Welcome in. I'm already feeling this new moon energy. Not only is there a new moon today, but the lunar nodes are shifting. So for the last year and a half, the lunar nodes, the north node and the south node, have been in Taurus and Scorpio. The north node being in Taurus, the south node being in Scorpio. So over the last year and a half, our north node is like leading us toward like our future and our unfolding destiny within this life. The south node talks about like what we're moving away from and how we're changing, like how we've already established like mastery in a former life. And so it's like we're not still like continuing on to like sort through those lessons. It's like we're taking what we've learned and we're like applying it moving forward. So the north node being in Taurus the last year and a half has really gotten us more clear about, generally speaking, what our core values are and what we need, like essence-wise, to feel fulfilled and enlivened and to feel on purpose and conscious and on a path, connected to that purpose. And then changing your life to kind of align with that. There have been a lot of like major changes throughout our individual lives and collectively as a whole over the last year and a half during that time. And also this is like the backbone and the underlying structure of all of this major like whole timeline shift, right? It's like all of the influences are kind of supporting that portal of where we are awakened and now the old life has gone and the new life can begin. So recently we've been going through almost like these stages of initiation and reawakening, right? We've been sort of comparing it to like being like the launch pad at mission control, and like system by system we're being activated and turned on and warming up and getting ready to launch, right? It's not just like turn a key and go, not in this kind of sophisticated and eloquent system that is forming within us, right? So the south node has been in Scorpio. And so that has been transformative. It has been the death and rebirth. So you see how those things have been working together, that we've been transforming over the last couple of years, really honing in on what we value, and we're really transforming ourselves and our life to like reflect that in an authentic way so that we're in alignment with our authentic path and our authentic, like divinely guided purpose and mission for our soul. For our soul's healing, for our soul's unfoldment, the elevation of our soul and the awakening of our soul and the healing of that and the balancing. So, it can not look like a clean, easy ride, right? It's not going to be. It's going to be a mixed bag of challenges and adventures and successes and failures, right? So there's a lot of contrast happening. But now it's like we've come out of this pretty tumultuous chaos. And for those of you who were sort of playing catch up through this last spring's eclipse season, you may still feel like pretty raw and not all clean and organized yet. And that was just the unfortunate timing of that, wherever you were in that period of transformation. But it's like the zeitgeist is moving forward, and like kind of you're just like elevating and being pulled with it because you vibrate with that frequency. So it can all feel pretty intense right now. Cancer, the new moon in Cancer right now is magnified. It's the ruler of our emotions, right? Cancer is associated with that sacral chakra. It's ruled by the moon. And so Cancer being ruled by the moon is new right now. It's in its full essence of its pure being. It's the maiden, the mother, the crone. It's those phases. It's the way that the feminine side of the self expresses the ego in this life, right? It's connection to the intuition. It's connection to the dream world and imagination and our sexual drives and motivations, you know. It's also the subconscious. It's where we've stored all of those subconscious patternings from the past. And so now it's like we've been doing the work to become more aware of these things. And now it's like we're wiping the slate clean. So now it's all about the new way that we're going forward. We're being initiated as the new self. And so all these systems have been initiating us and like bringing us a little bit further, ready to launch. And it's almost like this new moon in Cancer is like the launch of the new self, especially because of the nodal shifts going from Scorpio and Taurus into Aries and Libra. So what's going on there is very important too. So I kind of want to touch on the nodes before I go specifically into the moon itself. But so the nodes going into Aries and Libra, the north node is going into Aries and the south node is going to be in Libra. And so we are, for the next year and a half, going to be really becoming more aware of this new version of ourself and how we're showing up in the world and our self-concept and like how we approach life, like how we express ourselves in this life. Aries is a fire sign. And so it's very, spontaneous and motivated and inspired. There's so much energy behind it because it's the first of the fire signs. So it wants to go. It wants to launch. So we're thinking about, it's also the baby of the zodiac and the birth of the self, right? So we're having this spiritual rebirth. We're having this rebirth of self. And it's like now the new up-leveled self that we've been being reborn into, that we've been sort of observing like as an infant almost, like fan, it's like we've been observing ourselves becoming this new person, almost from a like stepping outside of ourselves, looking in and being like, oh wow, I can see the change. I can see this transformation happening. So Aries is how you want to show up as your new self. Like, who do you want to be in this life? And the Libra nodes are like healing the way that you've previously related to others. And now you're going to be relating to people differently because you're becoming a new person. And so in order to do that, though, we have to embody this newness, right? This up-leveled way of thinking of ourselves and the way that we show up in the way that we interrelate in our dynamics with others, whatever capacity or type of relationship that might be. It's generally the way we relate to other in general, even inanimate things, even jobs, careers, living situations, like just the circumstances of the day. It's how we relate to what's outside of the self. And so that's changing too. And so basically it's like, okay, well, who are we becoming now? How are we relating to others? And how do we need to tweak that to be the person the vision that we want to see for ourselves? What do we need to, how do we need to be in this world and who do we need to be in order to be living in that life that we want? How do we need to relate to others in order to have the interactions with life and the relationship with life that we want? And so we're kind of taking our time and going slowly so that we can pause and fill out and suss the situation and explore those subconscious patterns, right? Watch yourself. Are you, when you're going into a default setting, it's like, oh, okay, pause. This default setting is an old programming. Where is this coming from? Where is this model? This been modeled to me in the deep past? Where has this been seated in my subconscious? And so, is this the person that I want to be going forward? Is this the kind of interactions I want? When I behaved this way in the past, what were the results that I got? And are they the results that I want now? Who and what do I have to be in order to get those results? And so Mars is also, let's see, hold on. We'll backtrack a little bit. So going forward over the next year and a half, you're going to be seeing the new you and how you show up in the world and how you relate to others. And so you're going to have an opportunity to have different levels of relationship to life and to other people that you've never had before, right? Because we're also becoming more sovereign in ourselves, and we're becoming more we're becoming healed, right? And we're understanding that we're already whole and complete. And so it's like we're feeling less even validation from the usual sources that we would go grabbing after. It's like there's not even that, like, illusion is gone, right? It's like when you wake up from like a psychedelic, like not literally wake up, you're not asleep, but like when the buzz starts wearing off and you're like, oh, the illusion is now past. So just waking up, and feeling like really getting in alignment with that higher purpose and that higher path, and being the self and seeing ourself and having that self-concept of self-worth and trust and faith in the universe, and being able to have so much trust and self-worth and faith and certainty that you're not giving your power away to outside, what is outside of us, how we relate to this physical material world, people, things, experiences, our desires, what's outside of us, or what appears to be outside of us. So the new moon in Cancer is ruled by Cancer. Cancer is a feminine sign. It's a water sign, and it is a cardinal sign. So that's interesting too, that the cardinal signs are Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. Capricorn will also be highly affected by this nodal shift because Capricorn is opposite Cancer. Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. Capricorn is the father of the zodiac. Aries and Libra will be highly influenced as well. So I'm Aries, Libra, Cancer. So I'm going to be very influenced over this next year and a half. But the mother energy may be coming up this week. I had pulled the anchor cards. I haven't put our anchor message up yet. But there's definitely themes of mother tikkun healing, right? Where in Kabbalah, tikkun is like your soul's assignments for this life. And that includes the difficulties and challenges you have with others. And the ones that you have with your parents and your like immediate family and siblings, those are designed that way. And that is part of your assignment in this life, is to kind of come to terms or heal those things or correct them or accept them or whatever. But it's like bringing temperance and balance. And so you may have mother stuff coming up this week. You may have had father stuff coming up recently. So that could be a thing. But the energy of Cancer is comforting. It's nourishing. It's empathic. It's intimate circles. It's home. It's the things that make you feel soothed and nurtured and luxurious. Cancers are sensitive, right? They have they're just sweet, soft, tender meat all on the inside, and they just have a little thin shell to protect them, so they can get pinchy and they can scurry away, and so, and they can, move from side to side. They don't just go straight forward, right? And nothing about anything that I think we've been experiencing lately is very straightforward. So, but the Cancers can be sensitive and can take things personally. So we're learning how to rise above that sensitivity where it causes us to victimize the self or take things personally. But we're enhancing our sensitivity in a higher consciousness way, in a loving way towards others, but also kindness to the self too, not being overly critical with the self, like the Capricornian father influence can cause us to be sometimes with ourselves and others. So yes, your intimate circles, what you feel makes you feel nurtured and nourished and at home. The Cancer personality or influences, it's very understanding and very caring, and so they're very empathic. So they're very psychic, especially when it comes to reading the feeling or the vibration of the situation or being intuitive about how other people are feeling. But the problem is that sometimes Cancer doesn't know, or empaths don't know how to distinguish what they're feeling and what someone else is feeling, or be able to recognize what someone's feeling, but not feel it so much that you have no boundary of where you end and the other person begins. So we're strengthening those boundaries and strengthening the powers of our empathy, because we can trust ourselves with strong boundaries to be empathic, without feeling like we're going to fall into the hole. Does that make sense? Or get overly involved, or like feel like we have to carry on, this thing, carry the cross for others. They have to do it themselves. Yes, so getting really aware of those subconscious patterns, those self-defeating tendencies, self-sabotage, and really getting that out of the way so we can move forward as the new self, doing the things that we need to do to get moving. So examining how we're feeling and questioning where these things come from, especially when we're triggered. Is this deeply seated from a childhood wound or programming that you picked up from parents or family? I know I witnessed so many different dynamics between relationships growing up, and they were pretty galvanizing and intense and dramatic. And so, you just witness these things. It's not that someone tried to program you with dogma, and many times they did, but sometimes it's very subtle. Like, what did you witness? Like, how were your parents when they interacted with one another? What did they hold back? What did they overgive? Did they dominate each other? Or, were they overly submissive? Did they have clear roles? Did they have healthy communication? Did they have good time together and time apart? Or, how are those dynamics that you witnessed? And how are you carrying that around now as a subconscious assumption that that's how things are to be what you consider, what your nervous system is used to as normal? So that's the things that we're trying to examine so that we can choose consciously and not just according to what feels comfortable, because that's shoes that were already worn in. It's like, are these outdated belief systems? Are these limiting belief systems, right? This can be about yourself, things that you think about yourself or perceive about yourself or perceive about how it always has to be between you and other people. It's like we're getting rid of these notions. So let's see. We've talked about the nodes. How are we showing up in the world going forward, or like new concept of self is being born. So now we're really starting to act in the world and show up in the world and have our being as that. We're changing the way we're relating to others, really stepping up over the next 18 months in this new embodiment of the up-leveled self. We're showing up in the world differently. We're choosing differently. We're moving and acting as this more awakened self. And this is changing the way we relate with others in our relationships. Okay. Mercury in Leo is like, who are we really needing to be, and like, how do we really need to express ourselves in the world? Like, what are we devoting our energy and resources and time into? And like Leo is so like, look at me, I'm proud of myself. I'm a strong lion, and I'm shining bright, and I'm expressive, and I'm not holding back. I'm devoted to my cause. I have courage. I have, stamina and strength. And so that Leo is coming through, but it's Mercury is in Leo. And so Mercury is helping us figure out, okay, it's giving us ideas, and it's helping us break down the details, and we're able to like visualize and conceptualize these things more and break it down bit by bit to see what needs to be done, and being able to even communicate that and verbalize it and express that in such a way. So let's see, we're really needing to lean into that full authenticity. No masks, no self-lies, no lies to others. Just be real. Be real with you, and be real, and be, follow the things that light you up. Don't placate, but also know what battles that you have, even like what can even be done, like learn which hills to die on, kind of thing. But do express who you are, and don't hold back. Like, don't dim yourself to fit in, or because you are afraid of backlash of expressing that dream or whatever. And like figuring out, okay, so like what it's literally and practically going to take to get us there. So it's like, now we're really motivated to get going, and we're like, yeah, let's go full speed ahead, because Mercury is super fast. Leo is like very like gung-ho. We've got the influence of Aries. We've got Mars in, where was it? Virgo. Let's see. Mercury's going to help us break everything down and figure out what we need to do to achieve our goal. Mars in Virgo is giving us the motivation to follow through step by step. And Virgo is like super focused on detail and like precision and accuracy and being thorough. So Mars is really enthusiastic and like gung-ho. So there's the motivation and inspiration to take the action. But then we need to like slow down. Like every time there's like some fire, there's some earth coming in going like, but slow down. Like channel that in a sustainable way, step by step by step. Don't try to do everything at once. Don't expect immediate results. Don't burn yourself out. Don't exhaust your resources, right? Take it slow, gradual, consistent though, step by step by step. It takes discipline to maintain a pace. Think of a drummer, right? They get better at the moves and they know what's coming. They might have, if they're so technically, talented, they might have a tendency to start going really fast, right? Because they're not getting tripped up. They have the coordination. But is it in the best interest of the rhythm of the melody to go fast, right? Maybe the mood that needs to happen is slower. So slow down. Saturn is squaring Mars. So this is slowing Mars down. It's pumping the brakes. It's saying like, get practical, pace yourself. This is like dad coming in going like, okay, all right, we're going to do this thing. We're going to build the fort or whatever, but we need to like get organized, get our tools. Like we need to get everything in place. So just slow down and be practical. And if you're going to do this, whatever, as you build this new life, you want to build it on solid structures and foundations that are sustainable. And that includes the way that we relate to others, right? And the way that we take care of the self and the way that we show up in the world. So we need to pace it. We need to choose that with intention. Okay, let's start our Celtic Cross using my custom deck or straightforward oracle. I'm now in the stages of second draft where I'm typing in and getting all of this digitized. So very exciting. Okay, the first card is who we are in the context of this moment. This is tied to early childhood fear. Okay, so the things coming up right now in this Cancer new moon relating to that home, relating to distant past, those past memories, that programming coming up. All of your triggers right now, the things that are coming up to trigger you are addressing that inner child. That was also part of our anchor message. It was like the inner child was very present. It was all about healing those wounds that we picked up from, parents and from dynamics that we witnessed and from things that were maybe well-intentioned, but it still left us with something that we needed to transform or transcend through. So, whatever's triggering you right now, it does have to do with early childhood fear. And so the prescription of the day would be to do that child healing and do things that make your inner child feel secure, right? We can do practical things to keep up with our household, our kingdoms, and our goals that are slow, steady, consistent, digestible, doable, manageable, that don't freak out the inner child, but make the inner child feel a sense of structure, a sense of stability, a sense of, dependability in the self, right? And in higher power and source. Okay, let's see what's crossing us now. Before we started, the deck was on It's Time to Party. So there's something about just like being in a celebrated state right now. So trusted advice. Someone around you is offering you advice. Take it. It's safe to listen. They have a point. So, we've had bad advice coming up for a long time now, watching out for people trying to push agendas on you or maybe projecting their own opinions, right? And people tend to do that. And so right now, there's something that you can trust. There's something that you can trust your instincts about. There's something, maybe you're getting really good confirmations from or guidance from coaches or teachers or helpers or friends or whatever, but you'll know because you'll resonate with it and it'll give you a sense of peace. Even if it's not something that you wanted to hear, it'll sit right. You'll be like, yeah, that's true. But yeah, be aware that it's not just to say that you open up and trust anything. You have to use that discernment. You have to touch space within inside in your body and see how does that feel in my body when someone says that to me? Does that feel like truth or does that feel like it's wrong, for at least for me in the situation? So trusted advice is crossing us. Okay. So this just popped out underneath subconscious influences. And I want to pull another card because I just kind of dropped a bunch. But hurt feelings is coming up in the subconscious. And so the subconscious influence right now on the situation that may be influencing the challenges that we're navigating are distant hurt feelings, or even recent hurt feelings, or the things that have hurt us in the past are triggering our feelings now and causing us to be sensitive, right? Cancer, new moon, very sensitive energy. The cardinal, great cardinal energy. That's what I was meaning to get to. Cardinal energy is great for beginning things. So it's like this extra boost of that. The cardinal energy was Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. So this new moon is going to really give that boost, that cardinal energy to all of that. And think about it. Aries, Libra are both the nodes that the moon is changing into right now, cardinal signs. Cancer, cardinal sign. The opposite of Cancer, Capricorn, also a cardinal sign. So this is huge new beginnings and fresh start with new perspectives, new concepts, new habits, new ways of really showing up. So right now, just be aware that your feelings are sensitive. And if they get hurt, that has to do with early childhood fears and wounds that you may have experienced, even into your adolescence, even into recently. The recent wounds have still been tied to that childhood stuff. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that so we don't continue on in these patterns, but those are coming up for healing. So show them tenderness and empathy like you would maybe someone else. And if other people are tender and very emotional and very reactive right now and chaotic, show them empathy and don't react, because not only is everyone sensitive right now, not everyone knows why, and they're feeling very motivated to say what they think, whether or not it's solicited or not. And their solar flares have been crazy, so there's just like added chaos to the mix. So try not to be triggered. But if you are, that's a great opportunity to follow the feeling. What is that's showing you, right? So in the recent past, that are lessons that are clearing up right now, it says pay attention to your dreams. Record and interpret your nightly dreams. There are messages for you. Practice lucid dreaming, astral projecting. When we sleep, our souls travel into the astral realm for cleansing and education. Make your sleep space clean and sacred. Protect it with salt and crystals. Dreammoods.com is my favorite resource to interpret my dreams by. I always go on a bit of my initial intuition, but then beyond that, I like to use that website and just any keywords that you can remember. You can look it up in the A through Z, and there will be like paragraphs of like weird scenarios. It'll be strangely like accurate to what you dreamt. So that's one of my favorite resources. But you can like pay attention to what your dreams are, journal them, look into them. They can really give you a lot of insight into what the subconscious is trying to show you. And so the more that we see that, those tendencies and the patterns coming up within our subconscious, the less power they have, because it's like you're just waking up from the illusion, right? They have so much less influence when you know that they're playing games with you. The ego is playing games, tricks. Okay, and then you can actually like set your intention before you go to sleep and say prayers that you can work on healing these parts of your soul. You know, that's a good spiritual practice at night, is to self-empty, is to empty the ego and say, okay, what are the parts of myself that I want to let go of, that I want to transcend, that I want to heal, you know, these subconscious motivations that I'm not in control of, that I'm just reacting as a result of, instead of actually proactively choosing for myself, with free will and from conscious space. So what's crowning us right now? Indecision is keeping you in a stalemate. So there's a card in the Oracle deck, and the Romance Oracle deck, that says, clearly decide what you want so it can come to you now. And that is one of the best straightforward sentences, I think, and so helpful, because that's usually the case in manifestation. if we don't know, if we're like, I want this, but I don't know, like, is it this or is it that? It's like, just jump all the way in, because when you're going like this, like you're not moving anywhere. You're in a stalemate. And even if you have like, say, like in a way you find something that is like inspiring, but you're like apathetic to get it started. It's like, that's kind of a stalemate in energy as well, where you're just like canceling out. You're not, adding or moving forward. So clearly decide the essence of what you want right now. What is it that you desire? What makes you feel fulfilled? And then other things will become more clear. But really just don't be pussyfooting around about it, essentially. Like, if you want to make a decision, then make it and go after it. And if it's a failure, then fail fast and learn your lesson, and at least you got to try and you didn't have to wonder. More like the successful people in the world are the people that they're decisive, they go after something. If they fail, whatever, then they'll go and try the other one. Like, it's not like the end of the world. They just use it as a learning experience. So don't let indecision keep you in a stalemate. If there's something that you desire, then don't let your fears or your insecurities hold you back. Okay, what is right around the corner? What is coming right around the corner? What is just ahead of us? Shabbat, Sabbath. So the holy sacred rest, pause, the cosmic womb, rhythms, introspection, spiritual renewal, sacred rituals. So I love taking Shabbat every Friday. It's, something that I really enjoy, but it's part of a weekly rhythm to unplug and to renew the self through spiritual nourishment and things that feed the soul. You share a meal with the people that you're close with. You light candles, you break bread, you acknowledge that blessing. And you show that gratitude, and you make it sacred, a sacred space to connect. And you have the wine, and you take that communion together. And so there's a sacred space around that to relax in, to be safe in, to not worry and carry the weight of the world. That's really what Shabbat is about. It's about having an inner peace, that you're cradled and comforted by spirit, by source. And so you have enough trust to let go and to not work and toil, and to put down the tools and to let yourself just be, and be in a passive state of receiving the light. And so, many times we are go, ingest the spiritual work, take it all in, and then we, embodiment, and we're doing, and we're taking action. And so it's good to now, part of the sustainability of being able to take in and then give out, it's breathing, right? We breathe in nourishment, information, education, spiritual inspiration, and then we breathe out. This is how we express that. This is how we share that with others. This is how we embody that, and then we now become that in the world. And like, we take action based on the things that we're taking in. So it's like working towards your goals, taking a break, and working towards your goals and taking a rest. It's like you need to develop a rhythmic, sustainable pace in relationships with others. It's like it's breathing, right? It's time together and time apart, but you don't want to let any of that fall out of rhythm. Everything in life is about rhythm. It's about balance, and finding that balance. And it's a dance. It's not like we're always in the same rhythms, right? Sometimes it's changing. Sometimes it's like jazz. Sometimes it's more, jammy and sustained for a while. So don't be afraid of rest and renewal right now, because it will give you what you need to have the energy to be really productive and get what you need done. But also the healing is taking place in that rest as well. Okay, and what do we need to know for our perspective that is affecting the situation? How is our perspective? Okay. And I gotta move my table, just drop the whole deck. So save your money came up with, this is a practical issue to overcome, and healing the past. So I'm pretty sure that part of healing our self-worth, part of the mother wound, affects our self-worth. And if our self-worth is low, then we don't have the capacity to receive what we deserve or feel deserving of it. And so that can affect our love lives, and that can affect our money, because money and love are both ruled by Venus. It's not to say that you can't have love if there's no money in the situation. It's not like love is, is propped up by money. I'm not saying that. That's not the way that they're connected. I'm saying that the same influence and things inside of us like connect to the other and affect our abundance in those areas. And so right now, I don't know where it went, but I did see that save your money. Oh, here it is. Save your money. Healing your financial issues is always a great place to start, because if you have like a decent, stable financial situation to build upon, then that kind of makes everything else like a little bit more relaxed and easeful as well. When money is like a crisis, an issue, everything else suffers as well. So it is a good place to start for building, getting practical. And maybe the things that you want to create and want to do, like there's practicality involved, but part of what you need and what you need to do and be ready to have that life that you want to live is get really healthy in the money. And save your money, and save it in a way that it is gaining interest, and like maybe even like having plans for the future of ways to have, wealth that builds more wealth, right? It's not just that you want riches, you want wealth. And wealth is something that keeps growing, it keeps propagating itself. The outer influence affecting us right now is you're in great pain. So that is the influence of the zeitgeist right now, is people are sensitive, people are on edge. Other people's pain is being projected on you. And your pain is coming up, and it's like making you tempted to project it on others as well. So it's like everyone is like having this stuff come up right now. So just be aware that the pain is what's kind of like having this influence on you. If things are like, if you're being challenged, it's to show you your pain. It's to give you the opportunity to get more acquainted with where it's rooted from and what triggers that pain and what triggers that fear, and to heal that pain so that it doesn't keep driving your motivations or killing your motivation, right? Because if you feel so much pain, so much fear, it's hard to be hopeful, right? And then if you don't feel hopeful, then you don't feel like there's any point. You just feel futility and despair and despondency. Okay, hopes and fears card, stop obsessing. So stop obsessing about your hopes and fears, because we're hoping that everything works out and we're fearful that it won't, and it just causes like a block, right? It causes friction and disruption. And so the best thing to do is to like really just not be fanatical about anything. I've been tempted to beat myself up lately because I've been a little bit inconsistent with the channel. But it's also like I've been like having to do other things in my life. And also I've just had like an active social life through the summer. And summer is the time where that I get opportunities to do like nature adventures and things like that. So it's not that I don't deserve time off, right? So I shouldn't feel guilty about that. So having relaxed into times where I have been trying to like shift into daytime filming, and when that works out, I don't have a lot of stuff to do during the day, and that helps. But yeah, it was like the more I relaxed about it and just like gave myself a break and didn't get too tense, I got a couple of new subscribers, and it was just a couple, but it was like, at least it was like a little bit of an energy shift in the moment of not being fanatical and obsessive. And speaking of, you guys, like this channel, subscribe, like this video, comment, let me know it's resonating, and yeah, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about ever. Okay, so we're not obsessing, we're just being present in the moment, we're letting go, we're just in acceptance and trust and surrender and certainty, because we don't need to know the exact outcome to feel certain. We just need to know that the Creator is in control and taking care of things, and the more we relax into that, the more cosmic flow that we align with. And then what is the outcome? This is a spiritual issue to overcome. And this was also, this also came up earlier. So The issue at hand right now is not the illusion that we see. It's not really about that. This is a spiritual issue to overcome. This is about healing that subconscious programming that's been driving the show. It's about dissolving those layers of the ego that uses those things to keep us in this stronghold. And so this now is going to be addressed through spiritual means. This experience is serving to challenge you for your spiritual transformation. Growth through challenges. You're supposed to go through this right now. There's something to glean from this. Pause. How you meet this moment can change the situation. Overcoming reactivity. The situation might seem like a surface or material issue, but it's connected to a spiritual lesson that you are meant to learn in this moment. Tests, learning, embodying challenges, spiritual transformation. As we grow affinity with the light, we understand that to be like the light, we must be the cause, not the effect. If we tackle our 3D material challenges first in a material 3D way, then we are setting ourselves up to repeat the same pattern, because the same cause is perpetuating it from behind the scenes. We're giving in to illusion that the material world is real, when in reality, the truth is that our material world is only a representation of the energetic circumstances of our past self's creation. Our vibration, our energy, creates the physical reality we experience. But first, must go through a process subject to time and space. Okay, so hold on. Let's see. Our vibration and our energy creates the physical reality we experience. But first, this energy must go through a process subject to time and space. Change the 3D by first changing your energy and vibration, your mindset, your faith, your understanding and perception of the situation, right? That's how you change. That's how you change the situation. Okay, so very good. I'm glad I read that to everyone. All right, so let's actually, we're going to pull a lunation card here. See what we need to know from the Lunation Oracle, the Moonology Oracle, I should say. There's our moon card. Ooh, take time to breathe out, disseminating moon. So this is about resting. It's about not taking everything all on at once. It's take a breath. I can't remember, there were several things going on in the first 3 or 4 days of this new moon, the waxing phase, that are making everything super intensified. So there was a warning by one of my, the people that I watch, to not do anything drastic right now for like the next 2 or 3 days. Let the intensity pass before you start manifesting, before you start really going after something specific. Because the energy needs to calm down, and you might have a slight shift in perspective. It might change or shift the energy around how you're going to approach it. So just don't be in a hurry to rush forward. Just be chill, start thinking about your plans, and start breaking them down to step-by steps so that you can start executing them. But don't feel like you have to rush forward in any endeavor full throttle. It's like the slow and steady wins the race vibe. Okay. And yeah, don't be afraid to take time off, to nurture yourself, to relax, to have fun, to not always be working, whether it be toiling for your bread or working on yourself. That needs rest too. So we need time to marinate in what we've already been mixing, right? Okay. Ooh, the Magician. So yeah, it's like we have everything that we need and everything is coming together, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The Magician pulls down that inspiration and takes action and pulls that light from source into reality. It's the channel. So we're equipped with everything that we need, and we're resourced, and we have what it takes. We have the right consciousness right now. We're a conscious co-creator in this new life that we're creating for ourselves in the way that we want to be, right? We just need to take that sovereignty and realize that the power, we're not giving that power away to other people, to institutions, to jobs. Like, right? Like people are like, oh, my job isn't doing this for me. And it's like, you know what if you went to another job and it was the same thing? Or, you know, it's like when I was a freelancer, I knew that like the job itself wasn't my source, but that creator was my source. And when I got obsessed over the job and the illusion of that job being my source, and that job had power over me, then the job had more and more power over me and made me more and more miserable. But when I realized that the job is not the source of my income, source is the source of my income, then I'm more relaxed. I'm not attached. I'm not like worked up about stuff at work, because I just know it's going to be fine. Because source is my source. And if I need to get a different job, then I'll be led to get a different job. Or if I need to speak up or like change something, then I know, like, you know, I'm guided. But it's not like I'm not believing the illusion that I'm at the mercy of my job. And therefore I don't have that same, like, it doesn't hold that power over me. Okay. And that's just one example. Like, it could be relationships. It could be the relationship you have with your parents. Some people spend their whole life trying to validate themselves by getting their approval of their parents and never being true to themselves. And so that's part of what we're healing right now when we're healing that inner child. We are like healing the things that prevent us from having that sovereignty that allows us to be this, our own person, not like what our parents were, not what our parents reflected to us, and not what they think that we should or shouldn't be, but like, how are we being guided? Because source is our real parent. The devil card came up. Let's see. And we have the magician and we have ace of swords. So devil is Capricorn. So, and this is about material, you know, things being material and sturdy and strong and long lasting, as much as it is getting through the illusion of the material world being the end all be all. It's changed the energy beneath the physical before you actually apply your hand to physical toil. The seed level of our consciousness, no matter what we do, whether it's send an email or write a text or go to the grocery store and decide what we're going to buy for dinner, all of that, the seed level of your consciousness is going into your action. And then the vibration is going to be in it when that person receives it. When they read that message, they're going to feel the underlying vibe beneath it. So same as if you're starting a business, right? What are your motives? What was the consciousness you were in when you're starting that? So the seed level is what we need to be aware of right now. And we're overcoming that illusion. We're overcoming those limiting patterns, those self-sabotaging patterns. We are the magician. We are co-creating our reality. But if we're creating from fear, lack, and doubt, we're going to create chaos. And we're going to create more bondage and more mental toil for ourselves, and more emotional baggage and more emotional toil. But we're not. We're awakening, because the Ace of Swords is here. This is a new awakening, an awakening of consciousness, a change of mindset, you know, an improvement of the mind. So there's a fresh perspective coming, and we're creating based on these new ideas and these new beliefs and this new mindset and this new level of consciousness that's coming in. And then what else do we have here? We've got Knight of Swords in reverse. So it's like Knight of Swords is like detail oriented. They are like gung ho. They're the fastest knight, and it's just like, hey, whoa, pump the brakes a little. Don't rush forward indiscriminately, because you don't want to miss important details. You don't want to rush through. You don't want to take the goose out before it's cooked. So just go slowly, slow down, be discerning, be wise, be detail oriented, continue to show up, continue with the enthusiasm, but don't be recklessly speeding ahead, and don't skip any steps. Don't feel rushed. Don't get to the point where you're feeling impatient, because you can't force like plants to sprout. You can't force them to grow faster or bloom the way you want to. And so that's kind of this energy right now. It's like something that's organic, that's coming, that's building, but we have to just be relaxed in the pace so that our nervousness and our anxiousness and our attachment doesn't block it. Divine Magic, Extra magical energy surrounds your situation right now. Expect miracles. So this is our mermaids and dolphins deck. This is a deck specifically about manifestations. So this is what we refer to for our manifestation oracle reading. So everything that we are touching right now has magical energy surrounding it. So we've got magician twice. We've got magical energy. We're assured that there's so much potential in this new moon, that we can plant seeds that really have potential to grow and grow well and grow long-term value. But it's about being intentional and not burning ourselves out. We got to pace ourselves. Positive energy, staying positive, surround yourself with positive people and situations and avoid negativity. So yeah, again, it's like keeping that positive mindset, keeping positive expectations. Don't letting your fears cause you to obsess and create hairballs of chaos in your life and in every situation around you. Be relaxed, be at peace, be certain, breathe, have patience. Don't catastrophize every little thing that's triggering you. Instead, sit with that trigger and realize that you don't have to get caught up in that story, that it is just a story, and that you can heal that story by telling yourself a new one and choosing a new one in that moment and asking for Holy Spirit's help to help guide you as to a better, higher perspective. Empowerment, you're more powerful than you realize, and it's safe for you to be powerful. So yeah, this is like being empowered within that self, within that new sense of self coming forward. And, you're not needing other people to give you permission or validation. And so therefore they don't hold power over you. Don't be afraid of your own power. We can be afraid that it will be too much for people or that it will even frighten ourselves. Like we don't have the confidence to carry it, but it's okay. Like we don't need to fear our own potential. That fear is put there by the ego to keep us small, to keep us dim, to hide our light under the bushel basket. So feel empowered, own your sovereignty, and own your own perspective and like where your own soul is guiding you for your healing and for your path in this life. Don't necessarily let other people's projections and opinions be the thing that's motivating or leading you or guiding you or making you feel like you have to go in any certain direction. And then pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So yeah, again, Cancer, intuition, like psychic intuition, like follow your inner guidance and where it's taking you right now and trust those instincts. Okay, now let's touch base with the Romance Angels Oracle. See what's going on for our love lives. This is like kind of like what's playing out over the next couple of weeks during the waxing cycle. But in a way, this is kind of the influence of the energy that we're planting. Like the new moon is where we plant seeds for the next 6 months. So this kind of helps us get a sense of where we want to be in our consciousness to plant the right seeds for the next 6 months. Very soon. Oh my God, you guys. Oh, you're not going to believe this. I literally referenced this card. Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Do we even need the cards? Okay, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Indecision, keeping you in a stalemate. So yeah, if something that is like full, like filling your heart with like desire and love and excitement, it's like, but you're nervous, you're like, I don't know, or like if you have goals, but you're not really like doing what it takes to make them happen, it's like you're giving the universe mixed signals. And part of being stuck in one of the early phases of creation phase 1 or 2, or even being like perpetually stuck in 3 is just that active desire to keep putting fervor and passion into something and having perseverance through inevitable challenges. Trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. So again, it's like just be clear about what you want. It's happening in a way that is just maybe more subtle than you realize, like plant movement, right? Plants move, they express, it's very subtle, it's very slow. So trust that there's more going on than you think, but you need to just stay really clear and strong in that, in your vibration and in your heart, and stick to it. And trust that the situation is unfolding for the highest good. If you can be, secure in the patience of breath, of Shabbat, of rhythm, right? Of not rushing forward, step by step, right? Slow and steady. Okay, what is this? Release your ex. So again, the subconscious hurt feelings here in that position, it's like healing all of those wounds from the past that were inflicted on by those past relationships, right? The relationships that we had when we were less aware of what drove us within them and what was driving those people and their lack of awareness themselves. So it's like all of our relationships have been influenced by that subconscious patterning and those subconscious beliefs and what we saw in those dynamics played out for us in our childhood, and the assumptions and defense mechanisms that we built around that. So now it's time to release those wounds from the past and move forward. We're new people and we are doing things differently now. So it doesn't have to be the way it was. And not only that, it's like everything is different with each different combination of people, right? Each experience is different, or it can be. If you can be different, if you can start transformation and change and embody it and not be reactive to the ego, right? And part of that is just releasing the assumptions that it's always gonna be the way it was that time, or all those times even. Things can always be different in a new situation, right? With a different combination of, personalities and like tikkun healing, right? We're also assigned relationships in this life, and each one serves a different purpose, and they have different, duration, and different people bring us different things, and they heal different things, but they wound us in different ways too. And so, yeah, it's like release those things, carry with you the lessons, but don't carry the negativity, the poison. Let it go. And finances and career. So the practical issue to overcome, save your money, healing the past. It's like, okay, maybe something is connected here because of Venus, right? The love and money. So if you improve your financial situation, it's going to give you more security in a way. It's going to give you more independence, more freedom to do what you need to do, and to feel secure, and to not feel like tied down or pressured, because it's like nothing is more of a buzzkill to like your social life and your romantic life than just like being constantly worried about like making ends meet or surviving, or your financial future. So financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. So maybe if something is off to a rocky start, it's like maybe it's more financially related than it is an emotional issue. So yeah, just be practical right now and take practical steps and build basic security and solid foundations. And part of that is just working on your money situation, healing that, paying off debt, getting your, accounts healthy, and, building for the future, and maybe investing and figuring out how you want to grow your money. Okay, let's see what Mother Mary has to say. This is something, I don't know what deck this is called, but it's one of Doreen Virtue's decks, and it's a Mary, Mother of Jesus themed. It's very motherly energy, very motherly advice. Okay, what does Mary have to say to us? Ooh, optimism. Okay, okay. Father healing. My true father is God in heaven, who shines healing light upon me, my birth father, and our relationship. So again, this is not getting caught up in the vessel. This is understanding that what we crave is the light of divine creator that is expressed through the vessel. And so God is my father, not my father. Just the same as God is my provider, not my job, right? My job is not my provider. God is my provider. My father is not my true father. He's not going to heal me. God heals me. God is my true father, my true creator. So again, you know, it's like accepting that and acknowledging that, and then you can kind of let your dad off the hook because you don't need his validation, because you have your own relationship with God the Father. And that's becoming a healthier idea of what the archetype of father is, rather than the experience you had with your earthly father. Same with mother healing. It's like getting over the expecting the mother that you had, their earthly mother, to live up to the standards of the archetypal mother, right? Optimism, I expect good things to happen, and they do. So keeping that positive, optimistic outlook. Also, tenderness showed up. I am both gentle and powerful. So yeah, it's like about giving space to any situation, tending to something with tenderness and gently, not forcefully or aggressively. Okay, God, I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me in this situation. So yeah, we need to give up control. It's only an illusion anyway. And trust and surrender and relax in that certainty. And that demonstrates so much to the universe, and it opens up for so much power to flow through the situation. It's faith. By your faith, according to your faith, be it done unto you. Okay, and now what do we need? Loving words from Jesus. This is Jesus gets the last say. So what do we got here? Oh my God. What the fuck? According to your faith, let it be done unto you. According to your faith, be it unto you. 2 cards that we just predicted. It's the channel. It's not me, right? It's like opening to this channel, not the YouTube channel, but like opening myself as a vessel and channel. My intention is to be a channel of the light and to bring messages that will help and heal. And so when stuff like that happens, I feel like it's like, what was that thing? It was like, pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So this is just confirmations, right? And so pay attention, right, to your own synchronicities and things like that. But according to your faith, be it unto you. All right, you heard it here. Jay-Z, crazy. He's like, he's camping with Jesus. I'm going camping with Jesus. All right, y'all. Be good, but not too good. I hope that you have a lot of healing going on, and that you're becoming aware of your patterns, and you're having epiphanies and realizations. I will see y'all later after work. If I can, I will come home and do our anchor message for today. I know I didn't get the post done, but now I have to stop the video and go to work. I actually may even have to just edit this video and do that tonight. So I will post our anchor message tomorrow. If not, I will see y'all. Bye.